Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's Lurt here. We are looking at camera basics for natural light photography indoors. In this session, it's going to be a lot of practical shooting, so I think you guys are going to really have a lot of fun with this. The first thing you need to do before taking your camera out of the bag is to decide what you would like your final image to look like. Would you like everything to be in focus? Do you want a soft background? Do you need to set a high or low ISO? You want noise in your image, you don't want noise. Which white balance you're going to decide on. Are you going to set it manually? You're going to shoot landscape or portrait, so it's important to kind of take all those things into consideration before you shoot anything. So decide what you want your final product to look at. It's almost like having something to aim at when you go hunting. If you're just going into the bush just to fire off a couple of rounds, you're probably not going to eat anything. So it's better to have an idea of what your final image should look like when you're done. So important. So it's a very practical session, this. So please read through your manual. Most of the settings and everything else is set out for you there. So to go and try. I haven't given you all the answers because it's important for you to get some of this done on your own as well. A tip on this is when you always try to get the eyes sharp. This image is a little bit, it's low res, so I'm not going to zoom in too much, but as you can see, it's quite sharp. So just something to take note of is that whenever you're shooting people, it's important to try and keep the eyes sharp, especially when you're doing weddings or portraits or stuff like that. So for this example, you need to find a model. It could be anybody. They don't have to be dressed up like the groom, but you need to find a window, and then ask them to stand in front of the window. Switch your camera to AV, and set your desired aperture and your ISO and so on. And then shoot in both JPEG and RAW. We're going to have a look at some editing techniques and so on later in the course. It's not important for now. If you've got Lightroom or Photoshop, you'll be fine to get this done. Lightroom actually works really well for this. Ask your model to stand about 1 or 2 feet away from, that's about 60 centimeters or so, away from the window, or 30 centimeters should be okay. So it's just going to help you to get rid of those really harsh and hard shadows, because there's a lot of light coming in through the window, and obviously there's a little bit darker behind him, and so as you can see, the shadows here is quite soft. If I had him stand closer to the window, then those shadows would have been a lot harder, right there under the chin, in the eye sockets and so on. We need to preserve the detail. So when you're doing the shot, ask your subject to stand about 1 or 2 feet away from the window to make the best use of the natural light. We're also going to have a look at something a little bit later we refer to as catch light in the eyes. So and I'm going to show you guys exactly how to get that done a little bit later. So so soft light is going to give you a nice soft glow in the subject, and direct or your harsh light will give you more of a moody and a dramatic look with harder shadows, and the transitions between your highlights, midtones and shadows will also be a lot harder. So this will be your first practical. So ask your model just to stare out the window, get a couple of shots, make him face out the window, make him face you, make him look down, have him turn around, look the other way. See what you can, get creative. I always say, when you run out of ideas, it's a good idea maybe just to change your angle. So if you go lie down in your tummy, you're going to get a different perspective on how the world looks, and you will get a couple of fresh ideas in a matter of seconds. Wonderful. All right, so that is homework number 1. Homework number 2 would be, you need to build a backdrop. So we just got to keep this very simple. So if you have a table or a chair or something at home, get a nice piece of paper and just make an infinity curve. We call this an infinity curve. It means when you shoot from that direction, obviously the light's going to come in from there. But if you shoot from that direction, because the paper curves like this, it kind of gives a sense of never ending, you know, so it's an infinity curve. So if you put your subject here, a mug or a model egg or a model car, whatever, you take the shot, you're not going to see the fold at the back here, because it's going to look like as if your background is just continuing forever and ever and ever. So please read through your the worksheet, how to get this done. It's a good idea to get a couple of different angles, so you can move the chair facing that way and facing this way and facing that way, and so on, and see what happens to the light. You know, see if you can really get the most detail out of whatever you choose to shoot. Could be a perfume bottle or a model car, anything like that, or a flower, or your pet, or a, you know, little fluffy bunny rabbit or something. So you decide. Get something small. Use your tripod if you have one. If you don't, just you know, just for the sake of the exercise, just get the shot, get it well exposed. Make sure you can see your highlights, your shadows, and your midtones in your image afterward. Right. So the basic instructions are in the worksheet. So this is just about having fun, guys. So if you struggle with this, we will have a chat session or a Zoom session or something like that, where you guys can log in, and then you know, we can chat about this if you're having trouble with this. We will have a look at more detailed product sheets and stuff like that a little bit later in the course as well. So yeah, wonderful. And then the second, this is just a basic light setup, you know. So if you set up a basic studio setup, or you do portraits or whatever, this is typically what you would use, just to make it easy for yourself, with maybe with one or with even two lights. Then the next one is I want you to build a light box. So if you can find a box, just to give you an idea of what the light's going to do, you can you know, just grab a box, cut off the front face, put your infinity curve, same as this one that we had, just mount it on the inside of your box like this, and then cut little windows on the side. So you're going to open up the two sides and then close it with a see-through material or piece of paper or something like that, so that the light can still get through here. So both sides are going to be cut open. You can also cut it open at the top if you like, and then find a neutral light space in your room. So make sure that there's a little bit of light coming in from all sides. Put down your subject and take the shot. If you need more light from the front, I'm going to challenge you to make a reflector with a piece of white cloth, or maybe some foil or something like that, and grab a little bit of light from elsewhere and bounce it, reflect it back to your subject to try and get the frontal face of your subject better illuminated, and so on. This is really fun to do. Move it around in the room as well, and then see if you can get a couple of different angles. Yeah, all right. So we did speak about the reflectors in I think the previous session, but this is a really fun one. You know, just want to show you quickly what the reflector does. We didn't really get into it in the previous session, but if you can imagine, this is silver now, so you can see just note the light and the lines of light that this is the sun and this is the reflection coming off the silver. So if you're using the golden one, it's normally better for, this is great for midday, you know, when the temperatures are a little bit cooler, and you need more light on the subject's face to get rid of those sockets, the shadows in the eye sockets, those raccoon eyes. But if you use the golden one normally works better maybe for you know, really early in the mornings at sunrise, or maybe at sunset, just to get that little bit you know, a little bit more light and warmer feel on the person. The further you stand away, of course, the softer the light's going to be, the closer you're going to bring this, the harder the light's going to be. So the golden one works really well for, you know, if you're shooting a model on the beach or something like that. Alternatively, if it's a couple, a bride, let's say a bridal couple, then I would normally either revert to the silver or to the white, you know, just to get a nice natural kind of light. If you can imagine her eyes being open, you would have seen the catch light, you know, coming off the reflector if you frame it a little bit closer like this. So you don't, obviously you're not going to see all of that, so she's going to be framed like this more or less, or a little bit closer like so. Then you would be able to see the catch light in your model's eyes. So the next thing, the next practical session is actually really fun. So this you're going to have to go and read how to get it done. But the basic idea is to take a photo of, I want you to take a photo of a perfume bottle in the windowsill. Trying to get a little bit blurred out background like this. So the further away the perfume bottle is going to be from your window or the background, the softer the background is going to be, also depending on the type of lenses that you're going to use. But I'm going to assume that you're going to be using kit lenses or the lenses that came with your camera. So if you want to get a little bit softer background like this, just move your bottle further away from the background and then get really close up with your camera, with your focus on the bottle to try and blur out the background. So what you're going to do here, you're basically going to place the perfume bottle in the window with the light shining through from the back. Dial in your camera settings. Remember, you need to get an idea of what you want before you dial in your settings, and see if you can capture the scene, the scene in the same way you see it with your eyes. And then, you know, try to get a couple of different angles as well. Get a little shot a little bit from the top, maybe a little bit from the bottom, from the left, from the right, and see if you can make this perfume bottle really look sexy. I know it's not a sexy bottle, but make it look a little bit sexy. You can use anything actually. It will be good if you can use something that is see-through like the perfume bottles, because we always shoot this at weddings, and it's very popular. And it's also something that's relatively easy to get right when you nail it. So it's nice getting the light shining through from the back and all of that. So if you want to add a little bit of drops on this, then get a little bit of glycerine at your pharmacy, and put a little bit of glycerine in a spray bottle with water. If you spray the bottle or the perfume bottle with glycerine and water, it's going to make amazing droplets, and the droplets are going to run down your bottle very, very slowly, just because it's a little bit more sticky than just normal water. So have fun with that. And yeah, please make sure that you read through your worksheet. It's a lot of great information in there. It's important as well, guys. It's like anything in life, you know, studying and read through the stuff. But at the end of the day, you really need to practice to get it perfect. And you need to discover your own style, and need to discover what you love shooting. And that is not something that's in theory. That's something that needs to be practiced. So good luck with that. And have fun with this. I'm looking forward to your responses. Until the next session, take care.